What is up, Nerd Nation? It's your boy Hunter here from Film Nerd TV, and tonight we are talking about A Star Is Born, the 2018, like the fourth remake of this movie,
Yes.
and this is going to be a all spoiler review. I'm joined by Russell Howell. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Glad to be back again. Seem like I'm a regular now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Star is Born is that's probably my favorite movie of the year so far. I enjoyed it a lot, so wanted to talk about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's one of my favorites of the year, also. So go ahead and give your thoughts, like non-spoiler thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, the movie kind of echoes the movie Crazy Heart with Jeff Bridges. I kind of have I feel parallels between that movie, and it's like a mix of Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon, because you have musicians that are battling with addiction in the film. Obviously, Bradley Cooper is a musician who is battling with an addiction. He has a drinking slash pill problem. So it kind of echoes that same pretty much same tone as those movies. When he meets Allie, played by Lady Gaga, at a drag show, I believe, and he hears her voice and thinks this girl is absolutely phenomenal. I really want to see her more, and I kind of want to help her out in her endeavors in being a musician. So they obviously spark a love interest, and it's pretty much one of those things where, as the love interest grows and intensifies, it's where he's wrestling with his addictions and stuff as well. On top of that, on top of him trying to help her catapult her career too. So it kind of like that's pretty much the basic gist of this film. It's a beautifully shot film. Bradley Cooper's directorial debut. Just everything about this film. I love the soundtrack. I love pretty much everything about this film. The acting, the on-screen chemistry between Cooper and Lady Gaga. Supporting roles like Sam Elliott was phenomenal. It was nice to see Andrew Dice Clay back at it, playing Lady Gaga's father. Yeah, mother. Andrew Dice Clay was the father. It was nice to see him back at it. Even Dave Chappelle's small role. Eddie Griffin, you saw marry them in the film. Overall, this film it's really good. You get a lot of solid performances, and it's just a film that stays with you after you're done watching it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And I've been hyped for this movie ever since I saw the first trailer. The first trailer hooked me. I didn't watch any other trailers after that. So I had that premise, and I went right into the movie. This movie is one of my favorites of the year because, as you pointed out, the chemistry between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga is incredible. The music works so well to not only progress the story, but the songs are all catchy. They're all great. I went back and watched or listened to the soundtrack on Spotify, when I got home. And there's some songs on there that I constantly listen to because it takes me back to whatever scene it's in. And that's what I love. Is like when a song can take you back to a scene in the movie, you know that the movie's going to stick with you for a long time.
Yeah, and I had the soundtrack on repeat a couple times after I saw it last week.
Mm-hmm. Like the Shallow song.
Shallow is a great song. I have goosebumps when I saw that.
Me too.
I love that song. I'm a big fan of
Black Eyes is really good too.
I like Always Remember Us This Way. It was a good one too.
Yeah, Black Eyes at the beginning.
Alibi is good. It's at the beginning. There's a lot of good songs on here. So
yeah, and just overall, like for Bradley Cooper's first film he directed,
yeah,
like it's incredible what all he did, because he not only directed, not only starred, but he also wrote some of the songs.
Yeah.
By hand, by himself. So, I mean, the dude has done a lot for this movie, and he said that this was a passion project of his that he wanted to get done, and he nailed it.
Yeah, I believe he worked several years on this film, and he actually championed for Lady Gaga, because I don't think a lot of the studios wanted Lady Gaga to be involved in it, and he kind of really stood up and really wanted her to be part of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand why you wouldn't want her to be part of it, but yeah, it shows he's tremendous in the film.
Oh yeah, definitely. So let's go into more spoiler talks about this. What were some of your favorite scenes in the movie?
I like when she's coming across when they're at the convenience store or whatever. Bradley Cooper's getting her ice for her hand. If she punched somebody at a bar. And I just remember that's where she was trying to come up with the tune for Shallow.
Hmm.
I think that's one of my, it's just like when she's like starting to kind of like daydream about trying to like get a song together, get a catchy beat together with it.
Yeah,
I love that initial reaction when Bradley Cooper throws her on the stage and she crushes it with Shallow. I love that part.
that's one
Um,
of my
Probably one of my favorite
favorite
parts.
scenes.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite of the scene because she absolutely kills it.
Especially when like she goes into the chorus and she really starts getting into it,
Yeah,
and like the way her voice like goes from kind of shyish to
yeah,
really like bellowing out in confidence.
yeah. It's just that scene right there is just is great. There's a lot of yeah, like I said, it has that shade of Crazy Heart. I don't know, you probably never saw Crazy Heart.
I know.
Yeah. So he's a country musician who's an alcoholic in the film. That's why I say it's shades of that with Walk the Line, because Walk the Line, he was mixed between booze and pills, and
Yeah.
it was pretty much tearing him and Reese Witherspoon's relationship apart.
Hmm.
And that's why I get shades of both of those films because of the fact that it's just there's so many parallels in those films.
Yeah.
Watch Crazy Heart. It got Jeff Bridges an Oscar, so
Ooh.
it's a good film. And if you like, since you were hot off the music with A Star Is Born. Check this one out too. You'll be pleasantly surprised with that.
Okay. Yeah, like I definitely got a vibe of Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic with it,
Yeah,
especially with some of the nuance behind it, especially the chemistry between Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon, and then Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga really carried the film
yeah,
for both of them.
yeah. I mean, and it's like I said, it's it is to say a lot about Bradley Cooper. Especially being your first film you've directed. So you've
Yeah.
been but of course you've been on the flip side of that with some pretty legendary directors. You've been part of a movie with American Sniper with Clint Eastwood directing you. You've seen David O. Russell, I think, is American Hustle and stuff like that. So
Yep.
he's seen good directors and stuff like that throw out product, and I think he is just the retaining of what he has learned from being on the opposite side of the director, of the directing chair. Uh,
Hmm.
Really shows in his film, and it's such a great film. It has so much passion and heart in it, and it's natural. It doesn't feel forced. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you don't believe the chemistry. You legit believe the chemistry between the two characters.
Yeah. And what's fun or what's cool about it is I've like watched interviews with Gaga and Cooper, and you could tell like they're really close friends off
Yeah.
screen as well. So you bring that kind of dynamic on screen, and it works so well.
Yeah, and then like in the whole entire film, you know there's going to be a downside. You know there's going to be a turn for the worse. You just hope that he gets his stuff straightened out in his life.
Yeah.
Um, you wait for it, and then there's little shit. There's foreshadowing that things are going to happen that you don't
Yeah.
want to happen, but you kind of anticipate it, I guess. Especially near the tail end of it, you kind of have an idea where the film's going with that direction,
Yes.
even though you don't want to.
Speaking of that, and we'll get to that at the end. I had this movie going a completely opposite way, but I'm kind of glad it ended the way it did.
Yeah, to me, I thought the one scene, and I'll talk about it too. The one scene kind of sealed the deal for me that I thought that it was going to end the way it ended, just because, and I'll explain that down at the end of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, pretty much like we're just gonna be like bouncing off our favorite scenes. So, uh, one of my favorite scenes it has to do with Bradley Cooper and Sam Elliott, who was incredible in this movie.
Yeah, he's
Um,
really good.
it's when Bradley Cooper and or I'm sorry, Sam Elliott is bringing uh, is it Jack? That's the name of the character, right?
Yeah, I think I is bringing
Yeah,
what?
he's bringing Jack home from rehab,
Yeah.
and it's just a quick scene of him saying, I didn't look up to Dad, I looked up to you.
Yeah,
Closes the door, and then you see the emotion on Sam Elliott's face as he like backs up, and just like tears are coming down his face.
yeah.
That was such an emotional scene because what happened previously.
That's a powerful scene because before that they had a fight, and it was pretty much one of those things where they got into a fight, and Jack, I think, Sam Elliott's character quit the band.
Hmm.
He quit. He was like, you know what, I'm done. He goes, you don't listen to me and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. He's like, I don't even know why I'm here because
Yeah,
basically he has
after
spent.
Jack decks
Yeah,
him in the face.
yeah. So it's like one of those things where he was done. Jack was trying to help him out. I see where Jack's side of the thing, or no, Jack wasn't trying to help him out, but Sam Elliott was trying to help Jack out.
Yeah,
Just because. with his hearing loss and stuff like that. He was trying to help preserve his hearing by, helping him wear these things. But Jack's so hard headed and it's set in his ways that he just doesn't want to. He wants to hear the music, so to speak, I guess, not hear it from like a little, piece that helps preserve his hearing. Yeah, he does a
Okay,
great.
so Sam Elliott's name is Bobby in the film.
Okay. Well, Bobby, like I said, wants him to wear these protectants for his ears because he's losing
Yeah.
his hearing. You can tell throughout the film it's gradually getting worse and worse.
Which I actually love how whenever he comes on stage, you hear like a ringing, and
Yeah.
then it like kind of goes quiet on his end.
Yeah.
That shows that like he can't really hear that much out of this ear.
Yeah. So
And I like how the film portrays that to the audience.
You're feeling his hearing loss along with him, and I think that puts you in the driver's seat. That's more like first person. You feel more personal, I think, with that being exposed to you, the audience. You know what I mean? I think you feel more. You're like, wow, this is how it feels to be his hearing right now. You know what I mean? So I think you feel more of it because of that. You sympathize more with the character because of it.
Yeah, definitely. Another scene I really enjoyed or the message I really enjoyed about this movie is, when Allie starts getting real popular, with the music industry and stuff like that. How Jack is always trying to tell her, "Don't lose your way."
Yeah.
Don't let the machine take a hold of you like it does so many artists. Always be yourself, and then you kind of see Allie going down that road of like letting the industry take her over.
She does a little bit, but for the most part, she stands her ground. Like there's scenes where they want to have her have dancers and stuff like that, but she doesn't want to. So she does try to buy. She's selling her own brand. She's not trying to be what they want her to be. And I think there are certain scenes with like hair color and stuff like that when she changes her hair color, where I don't know if it's more they want her to kind of do that or not. But yeah, Bradley Cooper's always there to kind of say, "Hey, listen, just be yourself, be authentic," because that's what at the end of the day, that's what you have. You have your your authenticity, and nobody can take it from you. And I think that says a lot, and it really promotes body image for women and men watching this film, just because of the fact that how Lady Gaga said, with her nose and stuff like that. She, like even her character, like that, like when
that was a great scene, by the way, in the bar.
Yeah, when she tries to get her singing career, but she just hasn't had any success because she has the voice, but she just doesn't have the look. And she knows it's her nose that's kind of like being the barrier between her career and her wanting to achieve her her dream. And I think it's because her body image, and like Bradley Cooper says, "Hey, you're still gorgeous," and he does that thing where he goes like this, like with the nose and stuff like that. Like, so to me, it promotes positive body image. Even you don't have to look a certain way, because obviously Lady Gaga outside of this is obviously famous, and it doesn't really matter what she looks like. She's a hell of a singer, songwriter, actress. She does it all. So I think it does help promote positive body image too for women and for men too, I guess.
Oh yeah. So what are some other scenes that you really enjoyed?
I like the banter with I do, and like I said, Andrew Dice Clay is her father. It's nice to see him back at it because if you ever seen any of his stand up, he's pretty vulgar, and to see him kind of take a step back as he's getting older in his career, playing that dad who he's sitting there trying to talk it up. Oh, he could have been the next Sinatra and all this stuff and blah blah blah, but he really supports his daughter. He believes in his daughter, and the bond that they have in that film, even the small scenes that they're in together, you feel the genuine love between the two characters. It was nice to see Andrew Dice Clay get some work. It was really surprising because I was like, holy shit, that's Andrew Dice Clay. It was like one of those things where I was like, oh my god, like I wonder what the heck he's. And sure enough, I'm scrolling through IMDb at the movies to confirm it because that's what I do sometimes when I see people I recognize. Sure enough, and yeah, it was like he just had a nice, just a nice, heartfelt role in that film. He just really supports his daughter. He tries to be there for her, and you feel that love between the characters. I think that would be another scene that I enjoyed. I also enjoyed the David Chappelle scene, where he invites him.
Yeah.
He's passed out in his front lawn Dave Chappelle brings him in and his wife with his family to eat, and that's where Lady Gaga, I think that's where he ends up proposing to her.
Yep. He
Um,
uses a guitar string to make like a homemade ring.
so I mean, like, there's a lot of scenes in this film that resonate. There's a lot. You know, and then there's that scene when she's at the Grammys and she's performing, and you see
Yeah.
loaded out of his mind. Like, you really hope that he gets his shit together and in check for this, because this is like Allie's moment. She's been working so hard. This is what her career has come to, the pinnacle of this moment, and to see him kind of
He ends
ruin
up
the
pissing himself on stage.
yeah, to see himself ruin this moment for her and for him, in the film, it's just like, you're just like, ugh, like, you're heartbroken for Allie. You're
Yeah.
also heartbroken for, Bradley Cooper, because you realize this guy has a problem, and his
Yeah.
problem has absolutely spiraled out of control. He has no way to control it, and that's why he goes and eventually gets the help that he needs, because of the fact that he is like a cyclone. He's like a hurricane when it comes
Yeah.
to alcohol. He has no control. There's no filter. It's from 0 to 180 like that, and there's no stopping him, and it's scary. And you're constantly championing him in this film.
Yeah.
Another thing I always think of it to compare, like, alcoholism in a movie. It's like Leaving Las Vegas with Nicolas Cage. You always root for the character. You want him to get his shit together.
Yeah.
There's a woman involved in Leaving Las Vegas. He falls for a prostitute. But the thing is, you hope that love can conquer that. You hope love's a motivation enough to break the addiction, to break that, to want to be a better person. And I think that's why we always champion that in films. And that's why I said check Crazy Heart out too, because it has, it's the same type of vibe, and it's a music, film too. And you're fresh off the press with A Star Is Born. You'll like Crazy Heart.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, there's another scene that I like that when you brought up that whole Grammy scene and into the rehab. It's when Allie goes to meet Jack at the rehab center, and just that dialogue back and forth of Jack trying to apologize for all his mistakes he made, and like he just ends up breaking down on her, and she goes, it's something like, it's not your fault, you have a disease. It's the disease's fault, it's not you.
Yeah, and I think Bradley Cooper has an epiphany moment there, because he's been clean for a prolonged period of time, several weeks, a month, couple months, whatever. He's realized, I think he's done that reflection of all the times that alcohol has gotten in the way of this relationship, the things that it's ruined, and just the nothing great has come from alcohol. And he's like, he's like, I really messed some of these moments up. If I could, like, undo some of these moments. It's powerful. Like I said, the film in itself is just a powerful film. It stays with you for a while, and it's one of those films that just you're gonna remember for a while after you see it. I want to go see it again. I think I'm gonna wait till it goes to the cheaper theater, I think, to go see it.
Yeah, this is a movie that I have to take a little bit longer to watch, because it is kind of heavy in a way.
It is. I mean, but the time, even if it's 2 hours and some change, the movie goes by quick. I was never bored. I was never bored in this film. Usually, sometimes you look down at your watch and you'll say, "Oh yeah," but like this 2 hours and 10 minutes or whatever the film is, it goes by quickly, and every moment earned, every character moment's earned, and it's just a tremendous film.
And going back to that same scene when in the rehab center or whatever, when Allie brings up the fact, she was like, "Will you still love me now that you're sober?"
Yeah,
that seems like a question that somebody who's dealt with that would ask. Because, I mean, you realize that Jack has been dealing with his alcoholism through their whole relationship. Yeah. Now that he's clean, he's wondering, did you really love me to begin with?
Or was it the alcohol that was kind of like an anchor for your love?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems pretty powerful too in itself, because obviously alcohol being the vice is the thing that he puts above Allie. So when you take that out, does the relationship still hold up? Is it still going to be what it was, or what it's going to be, or is there going to be a problem because of the fact that alcohol is going to triumph again? You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time. And I think that was a pretty powerful, question that Lady Gaga asks Bradley Cooper's character in the film. We really see that, they do, really care about each other and love one another. So, like, you buy the relationship between the two of these guys.
And it's more heartbreaking because you realize that wasn't, like, drinking wasn't something that he decided to do. It was put on by his father when he was younger to have a drinking buddy.
Yeah, but the drinking buddy thing is kind of, but Spirals, you rarely see him going out drinking with anybody else.
Mm.
Like at the beginning of
I'm
the
just
film,
saying, like
yeah,
that
yeah.
was the catalyst of.
Oh, no, I understand. Like I said at the beginning of the film, he's drinking by himself. So you see this guy's
Yes.
really an alcoholic because those are signs of
Mhm.
alcoholism. You know, you drink alone. Even at night, you know, he's his driver's driving him around. He's trying to find a, and that's where he ends up going to that bar to meet Gaga. But what I'm saying is, you see that you know, yeah, he's
Mhm.
still in that mindset, like party all the time. And I think it's because of the lifestyle of being a rock star too. They
Yeah.
never tackle that, but the fame and the status and notoriety of being a rock star has that certain appeal to being an alcoholic or being a party animal and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I see, you know, the direction they went with that, because that's usually, you know, sometimes we see stories or hear stories about that. You know, rock star musicians are, you know, hardcore alcoholics and stuff like that. I can give you a band like Motley Crue. They wrote a book and they had tons of episodes with alcohol and drugs, and
Oh
like
yeah.
but it would absolutely blow people out of the water to hear half the stuff that they did, you
I
know.
bet.
And they came out on the other side of it. You know what I mean? It just depends. You know, some better than others. You know, some of those band members look like they aged really bad
Yeah.
as a result of it. But what I'm saying is that was the lifestyle back then. You know, that's what you
Mhm.
did, I guess. And I'm not condoning. You know, I'm not supporting his decision to be an alcoholic. But I'm saying that notoriety and that stardom and stuff like that, I think really helped contribute to it too.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think if we should just skip to the end.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like pretty much the basic gist of it. Like we've kind of already said it. So you know, Bradley Cooper's character is a musician. He ends up finding an eye to Lady Gaga's character because he hears her at a
Mhm.
drag bar singing a French song, and by I think it was Edith Piaf that sang the song. I think it was La Vie en
Yeah.
Moderna,
Yeah.
which is a movie with Marion Cotillard too. She won an Oscar for that. Little fun fact. Anyway, uh,
Yeah.
pretty much basically the gist of it is he just becomes infatuated with her and really just wants to see her again and see her again, and they basically have this moment where they just kind of just they connect. They have this perfect chemistry together. They have, you know, they share stories, they share, you know, feelings, and then all of a sudden it just spirals into, you know, a relationship. And then on top
Mhm.
of it, Bradley Cooper's also trying to get her involved in her passion, which is music, not being a waitress or not doing food service or whatever she was doing at the beginning.
Yeah.
And basically, we see that she gets that notoriety and success, and he's also wrestling with that now too, because on the same token, she's getting famous, even maybe to a higher level than he
Than
is,
him.
and it's almost kind of like the spotlight's out of his way now, and it's kind of on Allie, and we see that kind of parallel too throughout the film.
One of the
Uh,
ones. Sorry.
and it, was
Sorry.
that?
You froze up on me a little bit, but the one line that
No, yeah,
I do enjoy was when the first time he takes her home in the morning
yeah.
and he just like quickly rolls the window. He's like, "Hey," and she
Oh
goes,
yeah.
"What?" He just like, I wanted to see you one last time or whatever.
I just want to get another look at you.
Yeah, another look at you. And then they brought that back at the end, which was soul crushing.
Yeah,
Oh my god, that ending was dark, but I think that was the perfect way to end it.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Because
I agree.
Hmm?
I mean, is this where you want to talk about the ending real quick? Then I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, this is obviously spoiler talk. So for everybody who's made it through here, if you don't know the ending and you haven't seen it, just, you know, I would stop at this point.
Yeah, yeah, just click off.
To me, I think the reason behind it, I think, is when that guy came in, the producer for
Yeah,
Allie,
the
and
asshole producer.
had that talk with him about, you know, Allie's not going to need you and all this other stuff. I think there's an epiphany where Bradley Cooper doesn't trust his character. There's
Mm-hmm.
a realization that I think he thinks that he's going to want alcohol again, and he doesn't want to fuck up or mess up Allie's career because he already knows that he's messed up. That Grammy moment is in the back of his head. He has
Yeah.
to be thinking about that moment that when she has gone to the pinnacle, the absolute peak of her career, he was there and he completely ruined it. And there's also a side story that you hear beforehand about somebody trying to hang themselves with
Mm-hmm.
a belt. I knew when those two
It
moments
was
happened.
him.
Oh, what was it? Him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was him. Yeah, when he was younger. That's right. When those
Mm-hmm.
two
Like
moments
13, I think.
when that producer came and was talking to Bradley Cooper, and I had heard that story about that, I said, "Son of a bitch, he's going to kill himself," and it dawned on me, and I'm like, and I see the pills being thrown. Like when he's in the truck and he throws the pills out. I'm like, all right, this is good. He's trying to get
Yeah, me too.
you think he's getting his shit together. He's going to go, support Allie and see her. And
Hmm.
then all of a sudden you start seeing him like stumble around like he's drunk. So you obviously know he's been drinking again. You're like, fuck, here we go again.
Either drinking or like took
Yeah.
all the pills.
Yeah. And you're like, here we go again. He's under the influence of some type of substance. You're like,
Mhm.
great, here we go. And then when he goes back into the thing and he's in the garage, and so I was like, son of a bitch is gonna do it.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you're just like, shit. You don't want you want there to be a happy ending, and I get that there's not in this film. But to me,
Technically, there was a happy ending, though. There was more of a closure ending.
there was. I mean, Lady Gaga was obviously crushed because Allie really loved
Hmm.
Jack. Okay, but to me, she achieved her goal. She got to where she wanted to go, and she needed to meet and go through the things with Jack to get there. You
And
know what
especially with her coming out and saying, I'm Allie Main, like taking his last name and really carrying on his tradition.
carrying on his legacy, yeah, and pretty much saying,
Yeah.
hey, this is the guy that helped find me. I pretty much owe him everything. We did love one another. He was wrestling with addiction and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, we still were there for one another.
Hmm.
But the ending, it just like when she's singing that song, it's just like shit.
Ah.
It's super depressing, and even that excerpt with Bradley Cooper, you see him they pan back to him. I think singing singing at home.
Yeah.
You know,
It was his song that he wrote to her the same way that she wrote Shallow, and he finished it.
yeah, and it was one of those things. You're like, shit. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You hope and you hope that the character can get it together, but at the end of the day, I mean, I get the ending. I get why it is the way it is. You know what I mean? It's real. It's palpable.
Yeah.
Even with things of suicide and stuff like that, it's still a prevalent thing, and I think it's still an important to throw light on that people do suffer from these types of substance abuse, and be it alcoholism or be it drug or opioid addiction. It's out there. It's not like, and I think going that route makes it more real, I guess. You know what I mean?
See, I was expecting like him to attempt to do it
Yeah.
and like the thing break again, and then he ends up in the hospital with Allie, and then he realizes his way, and then maybe comes back on tour with her.
See, to me, he already had a shot. That when he left rehab, that was his shot to get clean for the long haul. I thought so. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're not going to have it do where he's going to try to commit suicide, and then they're going to, have it failed or botched or whatever, and then they go back and. He goes back to the hospital. Then Allie comes back again to save the day and try to talk to him and like talk him off the ledge, so to speak, and say, "Hey, listen, you know what I mean?" Because then you got to put him through rehab again. You got to put him through rehab a whole another time for for thoughts of suicide and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the direction the movie was going and the time that the movie was already running, I knew
Yeah.
that they weren't going to go that route. I mean, I obviously wouldn't mind, that being botched and then, but you knew first off that he wasn't going to show up to Allie's performance because he's obviously under the influence. He was dead, not dead to the world, but like hammered. And you knew that wasn't going to happen. So you knew there was going to be something had to happen. You knew something had to happen. He just wasn't going to pass out at the house. So that was the only logical thing that made sense to me, that he was going to take his life. I mean,
Or like when he knocks the pills out. I was hoping,
yeah,
like I was hoping like he would like see the pills and then like throw them out and then make it just in time or something,
That's what I thought when he initially did. When he threw the pills out, I was like, "Oh, great! He's throwing Temptation out. He's going to go see Allie perform, and everything's good." And then when he got back out of the car, I'm like, "Well, shit."
Oh shit.
So then I started thinking, okay, so I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna ride with it and see what happens, see how the direction Cooper wants to go with the film. And then once I see him start like not even be able to walk, I was like, here we go. So he's gonna do something.
Yeah.
So once he got into the garage and then I kind of put it together, I'm like, yeah, he's probably gonna try to hang himself, probably kill himself is kind of where I was going with it.
The scene where like you kind of can see in the garage a little bit through the window and the dog's outside.
Yeah,
that's so crushing.
Yeah, because like the dog, obviously, and Bradley Cooper were just so like one of the same. They they loved one another, obviously, and you see like man's best friend literally on the other side of this horrific incident or this horrific incident that's waiting on the other side of the garage door, just sitting there waiting for his owner or his master to come back, and it's heartbreaking. It sucks. You like I said, you really want, the character in the film to get, their stuff together, to get it right, to get on the right path, to do good. And, it doesn't always happen that way. It sucks and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but, it's real that way. It's more real, I guess, the way it ended. And, like I said, I left the film. I'm like, fuck, this is such a good movie.
It was an epic movie. It was.
So I enjoyed this film a lot. Like I
Yeah,
said,
and like
everything about it.
the ending is depressing, yeah, but you can kind of see a glimmer of hope when
Yeah.
Allie takes his last name, as I said, and like, I'm carrying on my husband's legacy by taking his last name. And the fact that she went back to her natural hair color, she was like, I'm not letting, the music industry take control of me. I'm my own person. And she had to go through all this loss,
Yeah, and that's the
really
thing.
find herself again.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. But I mean, overall, like I said, great film. Definitely going to get some Academy Award nominations. If not, should lock some Academy Awards up for. But, Bradley Cooper will be nominated for Best Actor. Best Actor should be Gaga. Supporting, we're looking at possibly Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott was incredible.
Director, Bradley Cooper. We're looking at Best Original Song, Shallow, probably from the
Yeah.
film. We're looking at a lot of good Oscar nominations. I'm really, really looking forward to Oscar season, especially with me talking about seeing First Man later tonight. I really want to see another movie that's getting a lot of Oscar hype as well. I kind of want to see Gosling's performance in that. But I'm all on board.
Sam Elliott, though, like the scene after he kills himself and him and Allie have that scene where he's like, it wasn't your fault, it was Jack's.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Like,
that's the, taking the blame away from her trying to feel guilty about it. Like, you have to realize this guy was sick. You know what I mean? And it was up to the hands of, of God or of the hands of fate at that time that, it was all in Jack's hands pretty much. Like, hey, this is his life. He's going to do what he wants to do with it one way or another. We can only be an anchor to try to help him out. But at the end of the day, when you're not around somebody, they're going to act in a way that they want to act in. And you just have to hope that it's a good way, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, Sam Elliott is getting a lot of attention, and he deserves it. He was amazing in this movie. I just wish we saw a bit more of him, but I understand why we didn't see a lot of him.
But overall, this movie 5 out of 5 for me. I love the film. I have it up there, top of my 2018 list so far. I really enjoy the film. Something I'm going to be going back to later on when I obviously buy the film, or just when I listen to the soundtrack. Something I'm always going to go back to and just remember.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, definitely 5 out of 5 for me. This is one of my favorite movies of 2018. Just everything about this movie is perfect, from the direction standpoint to the acting to the story. I mean, everything was done perfectly, in my opinion.
Yep.
Which there was actually kind of as I was saying, there was a point at the very beginning of the movie before he hits the bar.
Yeah.
That kind of foreshadows the ending. If you notice, there's a billboard that has like 5 nooses that are hanging down.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. I wasn't even thinking about it. Yeah.
Me neither. And then like when the ending came, I was like, oh shit, they foreshadowed it at the very beginning. That's something that I noticed. I was like, kind of on the nose, but I mean,
yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's where we're gonna end it. Let's do our plugs. Russ, where can people find you online?
House Hollywood Reviews, YouTube. I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, all that fun stuff. Also do a podcast with my buddy Chance Ellison, Notorious by Chance. We do movies where if you join a Facebook page, you guys can vote on polls of different things that we have. We have different movies, like especially this month is all horror films. This week we're doing worst Stephen King film. And I think Maximum Overdrive's already won by a landslide right now. But we have it set up to where if you join the group, you can vote on movies that you want us to suffer through or whatever. And
suffer through. Maximum Overdrive is going to be a suffering. I'll tell you that.
It's a good time, and we have a really good thing going with that. We come out, we have podcasts weekly, so just be on the lookout for that. We have a lot of good things in store for the channel. Outside of that, you can find me pretty much anywhere else that talk movies and or do movie trivia, anything pretty much dealing with movies. I'm always down to help or be a part of.
Oh yeah, and also Russ is going to be joining me for a lot of these Halloween horror reviews in the month of October. And the next one is going to be a Nightmare on Elm Street 84, right? That's when it came out.
Yep. Yeah, not the remake, not the shit remake with Jackie Earl Haley.
Which, you know, we should like review the original and then next week review the 2010 and then compare both of them.
Either that or we could just do a compare and contrast with both of them, maybe. Just do that, just do one show.
Maybe, yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure that out.
Yeah. But if you guys enjoy this review, hit that like button, subscribe to Film Nerd TV below, hit that bell icon, and join the Nerd Squad today. Hopefully tonight I will be seeing Bad Times at the El Royale, and you will have a review up here on my channel either tonight or tomorrow when I see it. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.